Shalom family, and welcome back to Testimony Tuesday. Hopefully you guys are coming from part 1 of my testimony from Christianity to Israelite, and this is part 2. So now we're at the end of 2020, and I've reconnected with a cousin of mine who I hadn't spoken with in years. The last time we had seen each other was, I think it was 2018. And the way we reconnected was, at that time, a family member of ours were dying of cancer. And we was just catching up a little bit. And from that moment on, she just began to plant seeds. And one of the things that she asked me were, are you aware that we are the children of Israel? Do you know that we are the people in the Bible? And, at that time, no, I wasn't aware. That was my first time ever hearing that. But it was so funny because as soon as she started talking, instantly, it's like the spirit was in me telling me this is true information. So she's going on about how, she was called into the truth, and she was giving me a little bit of her journey and, giving me some knowledge on Enoch and how she was studying up on Enoch. So, from there, we just went to talking pretty much every single day. So she's dropping all of this knowledge on me. And one thing about me, I've always been the person to go back and ask the Most High, to give me revelation of what a person is telling me or anything that I'm seeing. I've always asked him to give me clarity, give me understanding, so that I can know if this is something that, I need to pursue, or if this is something that I need to back away from, because with every information, right, it's always deception, so you have to be careful of that. You got to chew the meat, but a lot of times it's bones. So you want to make sure that you're spitting out the bones, right? Around this time, as I'm talking to my cousin, I'm also, at that time, I had TikTok, and I'm also seeing things on TikTok talking about the truth, right? Us being the chosen people, and we are the true Jews. But even at that time, even though my cousin was giving me this information, I'm seeing all this stuff on TikTok, I'm still in Christianity, right? But the one thing about my cousin that I really did appreciate, and still to this day I appreciate, from the very beginning, she told me, don't worry about trying to get all this stuff at one time, right? Over time, the Most High will reveal all of this stuff to you, right? So she wasn't irritated because I was asking questions, right? She didn't get irritated with me because I wasn't catching on. She was very humble, and she just always made me aware of, when it's your time, he is going to give you everything you need. But at that time, her purpose was just to plant the seeds, right? Now it's 2021. I'm about to do this conference with another cousin of mine, and I spoke at this conference, and at this conference is where I met this woman so y'all will know who I'm talking about. We're going to call her Miss Elder. So Miss Elder, she was there. She was at the conference. And once the conference was over, my cousin, she introduced us, and she wanted us to connect. And the reason why she wanted us to connect is, let me go back in 2021. It was before this conference. I went to sleep, had a dream, and in the dream, Jesus came to me and he said, "You are my prophet." Okay, so keep that in mind. So now let's fast forward back to me meeting Miss Elder. We talked a little bit. I got her number from my cousin, I think, and the reason why my cousin wanted us to meet is because she also was a prophet, and she began to prophesy, right? So we connected. Okay. From the time that I was following Miss Elder, it was from 2021 to 2023. Okay, so everything that I'm about to give you is between 2021 and 2023. So now we're at the end of 2021, and I've talked to Miss Elder a few times, and she began to tell me that she have a school. It's a school for prophets, and she wanted me to join her school. So I ended up joining her ministry because I never knew a prophet, right? Like when Jesus called me a prophet, I'm thinking like, how am I gonna be a prophet? Like, I don't know what a prophet does. I didn't know anything, so I was kind of excited when I met her because I'm like, wow, this is another prophet, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that maybe she can teach me some stuff. And so I joined the school. I think it was August. I want to say August or September, one or the other. I'm a part of this school, and I noticed a similarity between Miss Elder and the pastor of the second church that I went to. So you'll have to find this information out about the church, the second church that I went to in part 1. But the similarities was they both gave a lot of testimonies, and I'm a person, I love to hear people's testimonies, right? Like, I feel like we all can learn from each other's testimonies. But this is the thing that I found in Christianity is we're giving too many testimonies. There's nothing wrong with giving testimonies, but when you say that you are a pastor or, you're supposed to come out of the word, if you're telling people that you're going to teach the word, then teach the word. There's nothing wrong with testimonies. Don't get me wrong. But when you are teaching the word, let's teach the word and not let your testimonies overshadow the Bible, if that makes sense. I've always been a dreamer, and from the very beginning, this is where I went wrong. I have never really had anyone to prophesy over me, right? I think outside of Miss Elder, I probably have had, I think, like one other person prophesy over me. And to be honest, I used to like that because I'm like, I want to know what the Most High is saying to me about me. You know what I'm saying? So where I went wrong was I've always been a dreamer, number one. And number two is a lot of my dreams, the Most High don't give me the revelation right away. So I started to get impatient, and instead of just waiting on the Most High, I started to take my dreams to her. And I wanted her to give me revelation instead of waiting on the Most High. So from the very beginning, I started to put her in the place of, where the Most High should have been. I was breaking the first commandment, which is thou shalt have no other gods before me. But, at that time, I didn't really see it that way, to be honest. I didn't know it until it was made known to me. So now we're in 2022, and she's starting to have prophetic conferences. And my mom and I would go. That's how my mom ended up joining her ministry. And my mom is new, very, very new in her walk. We both are thinking that this lady is, we thinking that she's different. So now by late 2022, like I said, her school started either August or September. My mom has joined the School for Prophets. Mind you, my mom isn't a prophet. My mom haven't been called, right? But this lady, she still decided to have my mom to join this school. Okay. My mom, she's a person, she's going to ask questions. If she don't understand, she going to get to the bottom of it, right? She've always been like that. So from the very beginning, one of our class was a Bible study class. And the lady began to teach her version of the Bible. She took the Bible, she rewrote it, and she was teaching from her version. And that was already just like strike one with my mom, because from the beginning, my mom was like, well, why isn't she just teaching from the Bible? Why did she have to rewrite the Bible? The very first verse is, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay. But her version said, in the beginning, God created the heavens with an S at the end of heaven and the earth. And my mom couldn't understand, why did her version say heavens instead of heaven? So her and my mom kind of, not get into it, of course, but my mom was definitely questioning, and she didn't really have an answer to why her version said heavens. So my mom is questioning, should she be a part of this ministry? Because another class that we was in was for chaplains, or whatever, it was for chaplains. And I know I wasn't a chaplain, right? My mom didn't feel like she was, and my mom wasn't a prophet. But see, I'm okay with the school of the prophets, because I'm thinking like, okay, maybe this is where the Most High wanted me to be, because he had just called me his prophet. And, let me speak a little bit about why we thought Miss Elder and her ministry was so much different than the Christian church. First, she spoke against Christianity, right? She spoke against the church, how the church wasn't teaching the correct way, and how the church was out of order and stuff like that. Now, mind you, I'm no longer following TD Jakes. I'm no longer following Christianity, right? So I have pulled away from the church altogether, even though I wasn't identifying as Israelite at that time. But I'm starting to realize that, yeah, Christianity is definitely not the way. So the fact that she spoke against Christianity, we're thinking that, okay, she's not of it. She's not of the church, right? So that was one reason why we thought she was so different. And another reason was, growing up, even the times that I have went to church, I've never learned anything about unclean spirits, right? And so she taught about unclean spirits, right? And what they do to the body, and how they causes all these diseases and stuff like that. And also, some of the women in her ministry, including herself, were very humble women, right? Patient, and they were kind. Not all of them, but some of them. So, when you compare that to the Christian church, come on, y'all, we all know that a lot of the elders, women, and even men, they are not the nicest, right? They are not the kindest people. They are very judgmental, and it's like they walk around like they do no wrong, but everybody else is, in the wrong. So these are some of the reasons why we thought that she was so much more different, being that we had already done pulled away from the church, and now this lady come into my life, or our life, and she's not even identifying with the church, right? She is speaking against the church. So I'm thinking, okay, finally somebody in our life that isn't of the church and that can understand. Because one thing about it, when you pull away from Christianity, you will be judged, right? Like, people gonna think you have lost your mind. I was definitely seeking the Most High. I wanted to come into the truth. I didn't really know what the truth was, but the Most High is starting to reveal certain things to me, right? So, yeah. And also with Miss Elder, she taught me two things that I still hold to this day, that I know that this is of the Most High. She taught me obedience to the Most High is very important to him, right? Like, that was number one. Obedience was number one. Number two, she taught real heavy on repentance. Almost every single time her and I would be on the phone together, she would always tell me, it's about obedience, baby. That's what she used to say. It's about obedience, baby. You have to be obedient. So during this time in 2022, the Most High is starting to teach me his ways, right? Like what's acceptable and what's not to him, okay? So how I ate had to change, because I was real heavy on shrimps, lobster, crab legs, and pork. I ate some pork. I didn't eat as much pork as I did shrimps and crab legs. But he started to show me in my dreams, like I had two dreams back to back. It was the exact same dream. And I went to her and she revealed to me that he's telling you, or he's dealing with the way you're eating. And so by this time, he's told me, right, to go back to the beginning of his word, of the Bible, and read. And, I've always been a New Testament type of person, right? Like I never went back to the beginning and read his word. So he told me to go back to the beginning and read from the beginning. Until you go back to the beginning, you will not know a lot of things. If you think that you can just read the New Testament and know the Most High, that's a lie. And I had to learn that. So I went back to the beginning. I'm reading and I come up on Leviticus chapter 11. And in Leviticus chapter 11 is where he teaches us about lawful and unlawful food. So now you see he's starting to change me. So during this time, I also learned that I'm from the tribe of Judah. That came about one day being in the presence of the Most High. And all of a sudden, as I was sitting there, I hear Jesus tell me, you are from the tribe of Judah. You are of the 12 tribes, right? So I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even know that he would even reveal that information to you. So I'm telling my cousin because, I'm excited, but also I don't really know. I'm still learning, y'all. Mind you, I'm still learning. And so my cousin, we chop it up, right? Like we talking about it. She excited. And, so I also learned how the law was put in place to teach us how to live and be perfect in the Most High's eyes, right? So these are some of the things that you will learn when you go back to the beginning. It's weird because even though I'm learning, like I'm reading about the laws, right? I'm still thinking that the 10 Commandments is for our ancestors. I'm not thinking that he's telling me you need to be keeping the commandments. If you want to be accepted, you got to keep the commandments, right? Once again, growing up, I've never heard a pastor talk about being obedient through keeping the commandments. I've never heard a pastor talk about repentance, right? I used to question a lot of things like, is this for us now or is it for the people in the Bible? So I used to have these questions, but still I would come to the conclusion that he's saying, this is for your ancestors, right? But of course, I learned that no, the commandments is for everybody. Whether you believe in them or not, they still are for you to keep. So now in 2023, things are starting to change. And from the very beginning, the Most High was showing me things in my dreams about Miss Elder and her ministry. But like I told y'all, I didn't have the revelation, and I was really asking. But one thing I've learned about being a dreamer, some things is not supposed to be revealed to you right away. Like a lot of my dreams that I've had in 2020, they was just being revealed to me last year. Some of the dreams that I've had in 2023 was just being revealed to me this year. So that's something that I had to learn. And I guess that was the case in, the dreams that I was having very early on. It wasn't the time for me to see. So even though this ministry wasn't for me in every situation that we go through, the Most High is going to always teach you something. Teach you something about yourself, teach you something about others, teach you something about Him. So everything worked together for our good. This is where things started to take a turn. She started this prayer call where it was supposed to be a prayer call at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's why my mom and I decided to get on, because we thinking that it was going to be a prayer call, right? But it never started off like that. Instead, it just was another Bible study class at 5 o'clock in the morning. So now during this time of being on this call, because, I did get on, not a lot, but I got on a few times, especially in the beginning. But now the Most High is starting to reveal to me that some of the ladies that is a part of this ministry is into witchcraft, okay? And I couldn't really get on this call a lot because first of all, 5 o'clock in the morning was crazy. It's one thing to get on a prayer call at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? It ain't gonna last that long. But to get on a Bible study class at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then it turned into where they would get mad at people not getting on this call. So they started using like scare tactics, like y'all ain't gonna be ready, and just a lot of unnecessary mess. That's what it was, unnecessary mess. So I just thought that it was weird that they wanted to be that person to take the place of the Most High in people's lives, and I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like that. And like I said, at this time, the Most High is starting to reveal to me that some of these women are into witchcraft. My mama, she was a trooper, right? Like, my mom, she's used to getting up early in the morning, so she's a trooper. She stayed on pretty much up until the time we knew for sure, like, that was it. The Most High was saying, it's over with, So, but during this time, the Most High is starting to show me in my dreams that her ministry is full of falsehoods and witchcraft, right? So now, towards the end of following Miss Elder, I'm not really getting on those calls, of course. Like I said, child, I could barely wake up at 5 o'clock. So I wasn't getting on the calls. I'm not attending any of the other classes anymore. And my mom, though, because she's still on the call, she's starting to tell me things about what's being said on the morning calls, okay? But first, before I get to what my mom were telling me, these are some of the things that were happening to let me know that my time or our time was up at this ministry. Number one was I had this dream about being baptized, right? So I thought to go to Miss Elder, right? I'm thinking that she would have said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna baptize you. Because not only did she call herself a prophet, she also called herself an apostle. And let me just point this out. Now, back then, I thought it was okay. I thought, yes, women could be apostles. But I learned that women cannot be apostles, right? The apostles in the Bible were men, not women. So I'm thinking because she's a prophet, she's an apostle, I'm thinking that, okay, she's going to tell me, well, the next time I come into town, because she didn't live here in Georgia. So I'm thinking she was going to say, the next time I come into town, I'll baptize you and your family, right? But instead, y'all, she said, well, my daughter goes to a pretty nice church. Maybe try going there and they'll baptize you. So she started going on, or she kept going on and on about how it was a good church and how her daughter and the daughter's family was really enjoying the church and all that. And baby, that was strike one, because I'm just thinking to myself, you speak against the church. right? Like you consider yourself not to even be in Christianity. So why would you recommend me going back to a church? And you know that I'm no longer associating with the church. She knew these things, right? Because me and her had like a pretty decent relationship, and we used to talk a lot. So I was kind of confused as to why she would, recommend me to go to a Christian church to be baptized. So strike 2 was my dreams. It was the Most High was warning me in my dreams that, like I said, this lady in her ministry, it was just full of lies and deceptions, right? Strike 3, the final strike, the final straw, was going back to some of the things my mom had told me. The one that she told me that was just like, okay, no, these people, they weird. And this was like the Most High was saying, yeah, this, y'all need to be done with it, because this is not of me. What Miss Elder and another lady had said was, people think just because it's not in the Bible, it isn't true. That was it, y'all. Because when my mom told me that, my mouth was open. I'm sure it was. I was flabbergasted. And I was just like, she said, what? And my mom was like, yeah, that's what they said. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, well, if it ain't in the Bible, if we cannot back it up, then guess what? It's not true. I feel like that to this day. It have to be in the scriptures if you are talking Bible talk. If it's not, don't believe it. And that's another thing with the Christian pastors. Like, they do talk all this talk, but can you back it up in the scriptures? Is this what the scripture is saying? If it's not, then I don't believe you. I believe you to be a liar. I'll never forget this one day as I was in my room. I began to see this vision of this cord, and this cord was connecting myself and Miss Elder together, and the Most High came in and he cut the cord. And from that day on, y'all, that was it. I knew that season of my life, it was over, right? And I haven't spoken with Miss Elder ever since. If we would have stayed in this ministry, it would have pulled us further and further away from our Father. So, hey guys, that is the end of part 2. Come back for part 3 next Tuesday, and peace and blessings to you all. Y'all willing, I'll be back next Tuesday to release part 3. Shalom.